Hey you guys, so I am checking on the bees for spring because spring is definitely here. These are right on the threshold. They're getting a little frustrated with me setting up the camera, and I left them for a minute, so I might have to put on my veil, and I have been stung. That was a really close one. The talking, I'm probably going to get stung in a second. Anyway, I wanted to share because in this colony, the other reason they're upset is because I took their queens out. That's right, there were 2 queens. So talk about making a spring split really easy. I want to show you how big and beautiful both of them are. So here's one queen, and she's huge. This is the bigger one. Huge queen. And here's the other queen, and they were both laying in this colony at the same time. So I paused my inspection when I had to run and go grab another queen catch to catch the second queen, and so then I thought I would show you guys, and there's enough here to split. So this box has 3 frames of pretty much capped brood, and this has already gotten to 3 frames. I'm gonna get stung in a second. So I'm just gonna split them right here on site, and the only challenge that is that my stand, I want to be able to move it to either side, so it's going to be a little bit of work there trying to set up 2 stands so that they're not in the exact same spot, so I can try and split some of the field bees. Because the way I'm approaching this split, since there's 2 queens and they're laying, is to try and just make it as even as possible, and then have the field bees kind of pick their queen. I think that'll be the way to do it. So I'm going to finish inspecting, because so there's 1 queen in the top box, 1 queen in the bottom box, and so I have 4 more frames to look at. I hadn't seen the open queen cells yet, so they definitely made a new queen at some point, and I just didn't see it. So a couple more frames I'll show you guys, and then I got to run and get some equipment and clear this space and make that split happen. So time to get to work. If you want to see, then it's also a really nice pattern, these queens. I actually think this original queen from maybe last year or the year before was one I bought from Bee Weaver, but actually this one, I mean, that's pretty, it's a pretty full of cat brood, but the other frames really show the pattern as they kind of emerge from the outside, but a really nice brown pattern. So 3 full frames like that of deeps, and 3 full frames like that of mediums, and that's definitely enough brood to split. And the time of year, you know, these queens were laying so fast because there was 2 of them. That's so crazy. These are also the bees that stung me earlier. Oh my gosh, they're so much more aggressive compared to these. I almost want to put one of these queens on them, but I know they wouldn't take it. So, oh my gosh, it's full of larvae. So this is my wonky frames. I let them go a little bit anarchist on me. So I'm not so religious about making sure their comb is real straight. So they have a gap on that side where, so there's nothing in that area, but all of that is larva. I mean, this is a really full box of brood. So they've been burning through their honey. They started earlier than these other hives at consuming their honey. That was the one thing. So 3 frames of capped brood in the top, and it's like the honey stores are almost gone. They're really banking on the spring flow, and it's here. I think it is, at least. Spring is here. So, so I think they're going to do great, and that's a good characteristic to have, to start early around here at least, especially if I can catch them for this split, because by splitting now, then I'll have each of those split colonies big by the May flow, which is the more important, the trees, when the trees make their nectar. So what we got, this is well, that's the honey, but this is real typical on the edge of the brood box. So it was actually 4 frames of brood. This is a mix of the pollen and nectar, and I don't know, hopefully it's focusing, but that's for feeding into the brood. So this is a really important frame. It's got a ton of pollen in it, a ton. I bet you my head's cut off. I don't actually know if I'm in the frame. But yeah, nice gentle bees. If they can figure out making a brood break for the mites, if they figure out that. Oop, actually that was unnecessary. So these last two are going to be honey. I know that. I can see it. I could look for the old queen cup, but I'm going to leave those together because I'm going to probably leave it with that colony. And I think what I'm going to do, based on what I saw, because it's going to be less disturbance, and sometimes, so it's less disturbance is good, like faster, but also the fact that my frames, some of them are like puzzle pieces that fit together for efficiency. So splitting into two different boxes from each depth, because I also have two different depths, doesn't make sense. So anyway, it makes sense to just split the boxes top and bottom, since I've caught both of the queens. But what I need to do that's real important is to move the whole box, the entrance, off from this space. So I'm going to take the bottom box here, and I'm going to move it that way, and then I'm going to take another tub and set up a new bottom board for this box, and this is going to be a hive body, because I want to try and have medium hive bodies anyway. And the honey and pollen was actually pretty balanced. Everything was reasonably balanced. So this one's going to have a little more energy, a little more momentum, and so that's why I want to move it farther from where it is now, so that a few more of the field bees maybe come back to the other. But really, it's going to be a balance. There's enough resources in this one. All right, you guys, I got a top box for the deep. It's got a couple drawn frames. I sprayed some sugar water on it. It's got some foundation, and it's got some blanks. And I'm standing right in the flight path. Friend Robert's here.
Wouldn't you try to get some bees that are indigenous to your area, and you just kind of try to lure them into a house?
What's that?
Would you try to lure some bees into a house?
Yeah, no, I'm way behind on swarm traps too. Yeah, the extra boxes for sure.
I've got a lot of boxes of bees. We bought a bunch of stuff last year, me and Bumpy.
Well, you should set up swarm traps.
Yeah.
I mean, I got some lemongrass oil, and could buy some frames. I have some really bad frames.
I've got a whole bunch of boxes of frames.
You have frames for them too?
Yeah. Yeah. They're not wax, they're these plastic ones.
The swarm traps do better with blanks. So they
like these kind? Or
just hollow in the middle, empty.
Hollow, really?
So it looks like a cavity.
Okay.
Or already having drawn comb on it. Alright, I'm going to put this lid on for now. So I'm going to come back and give them a top this side. If you guys want to help, we got to move this box onto that one.
Yeah.
And that's recording, yeah. You guys are on video.
Audio too.
Audio too. Great. Well, careful, they aren't super thingy, but yeah, there's potential for everything.
What about all your shims? Take them out? Leave them out.
We'll shim it later. And turn it this way. Alright, you guys, so that's it for the split. I'll keep you guys posted on how they do. I was observing the activity this morning, and all of the activity was going to the original bottom board, original bottom base. And so the colony was here, I split it there, and a lot of field bees were going there, and so I moved this one back to the original location, and it looks like a much better split. You'll kind of see field bees are definitely still going into this one. I don't think it's gonna lose a lot of momentum, but I've been seeing them just go right back into that one as well. Whereas before, 5 minutes ago, there was zero activity. So hopefully that helps the success, and we will see. It's been a couple days, and it's now after 5, end of the day, so not as much flying as the middle of the day. There's bees in the entrance flying right at us, and out of both, a good bit of activity, and so as long as those queens are undamaged, these colonies will not skip a beat. So there's 1, 2 on the far one, kind of in the flight path, but a good bit on both, and guard bees on both, which is a good sign. So there was that robbing from the day before. Actually, that was 2 days ago, but I think that's in the past. They were just getting their bearings, and things are looking good. So I'll end the video here. I'll definitely update you guys if there's some big change when I go in and inspect in probably about 2 weeks, because again, there's a lot of space and no swarming potential. So that's about it. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.